Hello, beautiful ladies. And yes, I'm calling you ladies, even though I'm sure there are men here, but I just drew a pre shuffle and it was taking me somewhere where I was not expecting. And I have to admit, a little bit like, okay, I guess this is where I'm being led to draw. And so this is going to be somewhat of a love reading today. And I was like, I started on some decks and I'm like, okay, what is this? And then the cards just kept being consistent no matter what deck that I came with. So we're using the Witch's Tarot deck, we're using the Forest Oracle, we're using the Wisdom of the Oracle, the Archetypes, the I Ching, and the energy cards. And I think those are the decks that I'm using today. So I'm going to pull some also in this reading, but let's get into it. This is the Untamed Oracle. I'm Solison, and take what resonates and leave the rest. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And if it is for you, please like, share, and subscribe. So I started pulling out these cards. Okay, so I'm going to start with the tarot because that kind of paints a picture of where you've been in the recent past. So there's been a lot of stuff happening at a fast pace for you and good things. Like you feel really excited. They're probably excited and anxious, but we'll start with the excited part. I feel like it's like a new love interest where you feel very emotionally fulfilled with them. I feel like this is a new relationship. We have the Lover card, and this is from the archetypes. We have the Ten of Cups. This is something that you've been waiting for. And I was like, oh, I don't necessarily need to do a romantic love reading, but it's that today. So, and this has been, you feel clear, like you feel like this person is meant to be in your life, that this is divine from on high, and it's moved quicker than you were expecting, quicker than you were necessarily planning on. And so we're going to get into the backstory a little bit of like what that's bringing up for you. But because some of these other cards are kind of like sharing a little story of who you are. Because, okay, I'm going to level with you ladies, okay? So it's so wonderful when we have that new romantic spark. Like it's one of my favorite things. Gummy bears and romance were my favorite things. It got me through my childhood. That was like the fantasy and the sweets. I loved Haribo. I can't even say it. Haribo, the German gummy bears. And I would go to the store and get big bags of them, and it was just like, oh, it's so sweet. And then romance novels, I love it. And I don't know if you've seen some of my other videos with more of my story in it, but I'm your girl. Like I've been there. I love it. But I'm gonna say, and I think you know this. I think this is why you are feeling a little anxious right now, even though you're super excited. But it's not smart to center our whole world and existence around a person or a fantasy or any one thing. We have to stay rooted in ourselves, and I feel like that's what you're trying to do. And it's hard because also like sometimes we're invited to go on the fool's journey and experience a little chaos, and we have our routines and our rhythms that help keep us calm and steady and feeling like in control maybe. And then we get into a situation where there's this person all of a sudden in our life, or we have this new opportunity that is exciting, and it awakens something in our heart that up here is like, okay, be steady, be reasonable, but we feel alive in a new way. It penetrates deep into our heart. And so I feel like that is you. That is what's happening for you. So I feel like whoever this person is, they really compliment you, and they really provide like this other. And again, as your auntie, like no one can make us whole. That's a inside job, and we make ourselves whole, and then other people complement it, and we have fun playing in relationships. But our center's always home, here within us. But whoever this person is, it's allowing parts of you that you really have been longing to express in relationship. It's allowing those parts to kind of come forth. And I feel like you have you have this softness, this soft feminine radiance in you that is able to just like kind of come forth, where maybe before you have, maybe it seems like you have been a person who is very structured, because I get the flexible card, like, but someone might think that that means that they're flexible, but I get from you, you have a little fiery in you, and you are very organized, and you have a big heart. You're very unique. That was what was coming out, and I'm still excited to find out like how exactly you're unique. But people sometimes are like, give you the side eye, like, who is this woman? Like, who is this? What is she doing now? What? And they don't understand, and and you're just like, it's just me. So just doing me. But I feel like there's this natural, one thing that really stands out with you is there's this natural beauty inside of you. And maybe you weren't always, like, I get the swan, and I think of the ugly duckling, maybe you're a late bloomer. And it doesn't mean that you weren't beautiful before, but sometimes in certain environments, our radiance cannot shine for whatever reason. We're in survival mode, or we're in settings where people cannot reflect that back to us. But I feel like there's this uncovering of layers of you that's showing your true beauty that you've always had inside. And I got this card too, like, you're the angel of love, and look at your heart. And this is why I'm like, oh, I feel like you're in balance. I feel like with this partner and this person, that that heart, that side of you is able to come out more, and it's helping you awaken to other aspects of yourself. I feel like you know yourself really well, but this person is kind of like like cause a little chaos. But the advice from the divine, at least in this reading, is experience chaos. Like, go with it, girl. Go with it. And we're going to get to the managing anxiety, because I feel like that is. But I want to get more about what makes you unique. And I'm going to use the Forest Oracle on this one. What makes you unique? Okay. I've gotten 2 eagles in this, and a tiger, and a leopard. So there are some of the animals, and the swan. But the eagle, like, you are free. You are sovereign. Maybe that's what makes you unique. That you have, like, maybe people think because you have this softness to you that they can just like kind of like dominate you, but nope. You will have none of that. And maybe that surprises people. And it actually pisses people off sometimes, because if you look like you maybe like have different aspects of yourself, but then like people on the outside see your softness, or they see only certain parts of you. They don't see like this inner like fire that keeps you independent, and your strong will and your strong mind. And so people get mad when they feel like they can pull something over on you, and they can't. And maybe you've had that in past relationships. And actually, as I'm saying that, I think that is because I think that's going to go into the anxiety, why this is a good thing, and you feel like these different parts of you are coming out, but you feel anxious. I feel, yeah. Okay, so some of these other cards are painting a picture of you, that you knowledge and freedom, stillness and purity. So you look innocent, but you're also so smart. Like, you're so smart, and people underestimate how smart you are, and how like you have that fire of freedom within you. You're also like not in your face. So that's that this type of person, this type of person that you are, you attract narcissists. You completely attract narcissists, because you have everything. You have that softness, that empathy, that kind heart, and you're smart, and they go after people like that. You look like you could be like controllable maybe, but you aren't. If anyone saw inside of you completely, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna mess with that." But you just appear soft spoken sometimes. So you're very unique. I'm gonna pull some tarot and just see how else are you different and unique. And that's why, when you find someone and things are kind of moving fast, which you can always slow it down, okay? And if someone is really in it for you, they will wait. So I'll give you permission, okay? Yeah, I feel like people underestimate you. They think that there's only certain sides of you, but you don't tell everything that you know and you observe and you see. But you collect data and you kind of like, and you move accordingly. And yeah, and I feel like you have been through some things. Maybe it's with the past narcissists. Yeah, and you have had major regret with past relationships that you have been in. What else? Tell me more about the Five of Cups and the karma. The Four of Swords. Oh, Five of Swords. Yeah, you have a mental conflict. Okay, I'm going to move into this because one of the first cards that I got from the I Ching was anxiety, and there's a tiger almost in your head, and that's the picture on the card, and it's just like it's relentless, like some of the thoughts. And so that's the thing, when you're like really smart and you're want to figure things out, and you've been betrayed in the past, and people you've kind of gotten reactions from people that you don't always understand. It's kind of it puts you in your head a lot, and you can, I hate the word overthink because it just sounds so shaming, but your mental processor is going very fast. Okay, we're gonna say that. Your mental processor is going fast. Okay, and it's saved you. Like, you've had to figure stuff out before, so like we don't want to shame that part of you, but sometimes it can also spiral when it doesn't have grounding, and so I feel like that has happened to you in the past, and it's happening in this relationship, because even though it seems like it's a really good relationship and the advice is to like go with it, it's been hard for you to manage your anxiety because I think you've been entangled with, narcissistic people, and you, because of whatever happened in the past with these narcissistic partners or boyfriends or girlfriends, or that you were kind of moving on from that, and you had kind of decided that you're done with that. You're not going to do the mind games. You're not going to be in that anymore. And so I think this like caught you by surprise, and then this person kind of moved into your heart quickly, which surprised you yourself. Yeah. And you're on this new fool's journey. And there's shadow there, the moon, because of what you've gone through in the past. So, okay, you are here with Auntie now, and we're going to chat about the anxiety and what to do about it, because there were some other cards that came out, and this was a really strong transmission that I wanted to share with this one card. I was kind of waiting with this, but you want to if anxiety was an animal in your brain, it might be a tiger. It might be relentless, and maybe, but just it just gets its claws, and then you have like so much fear around what could happen. You're kind of going into the past. You don't know if you should see things as red flags. So keep your mind open, keep like, watch what people do, watch what your partner does more than what they say, and you need time. So maybe slow it down. But you can transmute and kind of shift that tiger energy of your mind into more of like a panther. Okay, so think of like a panther, or a leopard, where they are very feminine creatures, but they are very aware and they move silently, so that fits with your personality. But instead of it being in your face anxiety, you kind of like being patient and slowing down and just watching over time. And with that, so it's interesting because this is the card that kind of really stood out to me. This is co-create. And you can see is that a leopard or a panther? I need to know my animals. And then there's an owl. So the wise owl. And so kind of on a little rope, just observing, and the panther's kind of waiting. But there are celebration flags. So, and you're in a tall place, so you have this sight at your advantage. But okay, this is the part I'm really excited about. Okay, the co-create part. So with the co-create part, what comes, okay, when you were a kid, and I don't know, everyone is different in how they were a kid, but when I was a kid, I used to love to play make believe with my sister. And we would make up all sorts of games, and our husbands were always out of town, and we were always like doing things. Like we made restaurants, and we took care of kids, and we went shopping at malls, and we created malls, and we like just we played around the school, and we were escaping concentration camp. We were, boxcar children. We were trying to survive. We did all of these creative, imaginative games. But and then with my younger brother too. But little brother was always, running after us, and we were just trying to get away half the time. But anyway, we would play these imaginary games, and we would just make up all kinds of games. We played Dragon. We played all kinds of games. But what we would do when we were little was we always knew we were playing a game. We always knew, like, okay, we're playing a game, and then if we didn't like the game anymore, or it was getting boring, or it was getting old, or we were like, oh, I don't like this, where this is going, like this is too much, too dark, too boring, too whatever, then we're like, let's not do that anymore. Let's play a different game, or let's change the game. How about, instead of we're escaping, now we're liberating other people, or let's change the game because I don't like this, or if you're playing with another person, you kind of co-creating the game. And so they might throw in something like that, you're like, oh, I don't like that. And so you're like, well, I'm gonna do this thing and throw in this like side quest here and change the whole game altogether, change the whole make believe. So that's how I was really imaginative as a kid. We play outside, we play outdoors forever. It was in the 80s. I was an 80s kid. So we didn't have cell phones or anything, so we were just playing make-believe all the time and on our bikes and just outside. So what I have learned as adults, because I have done so much inner work on myself, and I'm in the field of healing other people. That's my day job. But I have learned, like, adults are just big kids, and we have forgotten that we're playing games. We take everything so serious because, let's be real, adults have adult consequences. Kids in make-believe games don't have, consequences that stick the same way. You might have a scabbed knee or get home too late and get in trouble, but, it's different in that way. But the idea that if you don't like what's happening, you can shift it at any time. You're not locked in to a certain thing. And so if you don't like what's happening, or you don't know where it's going, then just decide, co-create with your partner, with your lover, and co-create, like, you bring in more of what you want, and how do you what would be fun, and think of fun, because that's the thing. Like, life is not supposed to be just like getting through. Life is supposed to be fun and creative and adventurous and passionate and alive in our hearts and our minds, and it should be fun, and we should experience joy and pleasure. And so do those things. Like, if it, you can choose. And if, give yourself permission that if you don't like the game and you don't like playing it with that person anymore, you don't have to either. But you have choices all the time. We are never locked in unless we lock ourselves in it. And you're not going to do that, because it showed me that you love your freedom, you love your sovereignty, you love your independence. So just keep that, and know that like you're playing a game. You're playing not a game in a negative way, but like you're co-creating a reality with this person. You're doing a new relationship, and you can at any point in time shift it and change it so it's more fun or so it more fits what you want. You are not a victim. You are not just you're not on someone else's train. You didn't just jump on someone else's train that you have to ride on now. No, you stay a full agent, a full co-creator of your own life. And always be asking yourself, is this fun? Am I having fun? What do I rather do? What do I want to do more of? What do I want to do less of? And that's going to help the anxiety, because I feel like in the past, maybe you got on someone else's train, and narcissists and narcissistic people, or people with those traits, always are centering themselves. And so it's really easy to get kind of sucked into their world, and now you're centering them and the game or the thing that they're creating or what they're wanting to play, and you're kind of like a side character. But no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that this time. So if you go in with this new relationship, and you can slow it down, you can speed it up, you can have it more at your place, you can have it more, you can go on more dates, you can do more creative things, you can do and create and make the rules up as you go. And the rules of this relationship are up to you and your partner. But if it's it's up to you guys. But if it does not work for you, then you can, change it or leave it. And so just keep that always, like, relationships come and go, and some of them stay, but we can't control that. And the ones that are meant to stay are going to stay, not because we're forcing ourselves and making ourselves small to fit in this little thing so we can be on someone else's train. It's just because it works organically and authentically, and it's a natural resonance. It's a natural match. So have that confidence that what is for you will stay with you, and what is for you is fun. And if it does not, keep being fun and allowing your heart to be free in these other sides of yourself, then you'll leave it. And knowing that is very freeing to the mind, because sometimes the mind starts going, well, trying to plan out everything to make things work. And it's like, no, you got to let go of that. You have your root and your solidness in yourself, because you're unique and you're different. And so you're going to do relationships different. Do your relationships uniquely. Do not try to fall into anyone else's mold. You always come home to yourself. You always need to be your best ally with yourself, even in fun, romantic relationships. Too much of us center the other person, center men. And it's like, no. And actually, the relationships where women do not do that, and they center themselves and their pleasure and their joy and their radiance, those men are actually the happiest in relationship with them. So just take it from me, years of marriage and relationship. I see it all the time, but it's not what the main discourse of society is. So you will look different, and people will be like, what's she doing? But you do it anyway. You do you, boo. Okay? And have fun doing it. And you can always create a different story, a different narrative, a different game, and play something different. So maybe one or two more cards I'm going to pull for last final message. Okay, if it goes on the floor, I'm not bending down anymore. I'm like, no, you went into the abyss. You're done. Yeah, you're done. The King of Pentacles. Okay. Ooh, this person is bringing in this masculine energy. It could be male or female, but it's bringing in some stability, and you're like, finally. So, yeah, and you've had to walk away. I think you were planning on walking away from relationships for a time. So it makes sense that you're feeling anxious, because this was not the plan. This was not the plan. The King of Cups too. Who is this person? Who is this person? You've done some research on it or them. You weren't sure about them. Maybe you have been taking some alone time trying to slow it down, but it's like somehow still fast for you. So I'm going to get one more Forest card. So you're going to be all right. Okay? You're going to be all right. Yeah, you are a natural leader, and and it's hard to trust other people's leadership. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. You do not need to trust someone overnight. You should not trust someone overnight. If someone tells you, trust me, why don't you trust me? I feel like you're guarded. I feel like you're. No, 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 no. People don't just get instant access. And for some reason, we don't do that. We don't do that with, well, some people do. Okay. We don't expect like instant access to people that we've just met. You know, we have inner circle people, and they have worked hard to be there and build our trust. We have middle circle people where they might not know everything, but we still like trust them with a certain amount of things. And then we have our outer people, and we can promote them or demote them. And we get to decide that, and no one else can decide where they should be in our inner circles. We get to decide where our boundaries are. And so you are the leader of your boundaries, and you know your partner can be the leader of theirs. But trust yourself. Trust yourself on what you've built. Trust who you know you are, and believe that things can be different than how they were in the past. They can be different. Believe in the miracles. That was the card. Ooh, I'm getting tingles. I'm getting tingles. Yeah, and have courage. Have courage. Things can be different. Oh, I have shivers everywhere. Blue butterflies. Oh, that was in my dream the other night. And a castle, like in the forest. Courage. And you deserve it. You really do. And you do not have to. You do not have to lose parts of yourself to deserve this kind of love. Keep everything. Keep all of it. Your spunk, your uniqueness, your leadership, your freedom, your joy, your fun. You can create. Love you.